Minister, our digital inclusion strategy, which our broadband strategy is central to, is incredibly important, and I think the government has a good strategy. But in light of budget cuts at the EU level, which I believe are from 8.2 billion to 1 billion for broadband strategy, as recently agreed, have we looked yet at how that strategy is going to change, or how the government's plans launched last August are going to change, given that funding has dropped so dramatically?
Thank you.
Thank you. I actually had a question in for question number 110. I'd hoped on the National Broadband Plan, I'd hoped it would be taken. But look, what I want to ask in particular, that there are sections of Kerry, of my constituency, they simply can't get any broadband at this stage, even though they can't get anything at all. Providers are giving refunds back to these customers because they've come out and they've seen that they just can't provide broadband to those people. And people from the Maharees in particular, near Castle Gregory, have been in contact with me, and they're very, very frustrated with the situation. People who may want to work from home or set up their own businesses, they simply can't. And it was quite rightly pointed out from across the chamber that this is a matter that could hugely divide rural Ireland from urban Ireland into the future, and it's something that needs to be tackled.
Thank you.
What hope can you give those people who are basically being told at the moment that there is no current broadband service for them? What can they do?
Well, Deputy Creevy, finally.
Minister, there appears to be almost an oversupply of fibre lines between this country and Britain, undersea lines and quite expensive lines, that they more than cater for current traffic and projected traffic in the future, but an inadequate fibre network in this country. I'm glad that you mentioned the ESB, because I believe we need to be looking at a lot of utilities. We could be looking at water mains, telecom, rail lines, gas lines, that, on which fibre optic can piggyback, and it would save this country an awful lot of money. And I believe that fibre optic is the only way that we're going to hit the targets that you have outlined in your strategy.
Minister, final reply on this.
Well, Laskin Collier, Deputy Murphy is right. The putative 9.2 billion that was notionally allocated for the Connecting Europe facility was diminished during the process leading to the conclusion of the multi-financial framework budgetary discussions. And the figure now on the telecom side is a pretty miserly 1 billion. I don't think that it will have much impact on our circumstances, Laskin Corlia, because the telecommunications sector generally, and a conference I did yesterday morning for the Institute of Engineers, or Engineers of Ireland, this subject came up, and a leading representative of the telecommunications sector was there, and she confirmed my own remarks to the effect that the private commercial sector is not having a difficulty in sourcing funding for telecommunications projects. There may well be some difficulties in other areas, but not in the telecommunications area. So I don't think that development under the multi-financial framework is going to much impact on our digital inclusion policies and so on, as Deputy Murphy asks. Deputy